Hi friends, I want to tell you the summary of Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. Author name is T. Harv Eker. So let's get started. Rich people believe I create my life. Poor people believe life happens to me. This is hyper important. If you feel like life just happens to me, I cannot do anything about it, then how are you going to change? What kind of life do you live? I can tell you, you live the life of absolutely no purpose, completely unconsciously and meaningless. If you don't think I create my life, then you can't change anything. You must realize that you are the creator. You must sit at the steering wheel of your life. You make the choices and you take responsibility for your life. Basically, you are the boss of your life. The author states that poor people play the role of the victim. They often blame other people. It's never their fault. It's always the fault of others. Poor people also often complain. When you are complaining, you become a living, breathing crap magnet. That's the worst thing you can do. So never whine or complain. Poor people also justify their situation. They say things like, money is not that important. If you don't think money is important, you simply won't have any. The poor people always argue, well, money is not as important as love. Please think what's more important, your arm or your leg. I think both are important. Rich people play the money game to win. Poor people play the money game to not lose. If your goal is to have just enough money to pay the bills, how much money do you think you will get? Exactly, just enough to pay the bills. You get what you truly intend to get, and that's what so many people strive for. I just want enough to pay the bills. I just want to live a moderate life and go on vacation once a year. I just want my regular income and make ends meet. Well, if that's what you want, that's what you get. Author advises us that our goal should be to become a millionaire and more. Author says that if you shoot for the stars, you will at least hit the moon. Rich people are committed to being rich. Poor people want to be rich. The number one reason most people don't get what they want is that they don't know what they want. Do you know what you want? What do you want? What do you want to be? How do you want your life to look like? It is a common problem that we don't really know what we want. If we don't know what we want in life, how are we going to get it? We won't. If I ask you, you want to be rich? You would probably think, what a stupid question. And you will say, of course, I want to be rich. The author states that there are three levels of wanting. First, I want to be rich. This won't bring you anywhere, as billions of people want to be rich, but relatively few are. Second, I choose to be rich. Choosing is much stronger than wanting because you take responsibility for creating your own reality. Third, I commit to being rich. That's the highest form of wanting. You devote yourself unreservedly. You give 100% to achieve wealth. There are no excuses. Failure is not an option. I will be rich or I will die trying. That's commitment and that's necessary for true success. Author says that you need to be fully, totally and truly committed to create wealth. Rich people think big. Poor people think small. This makes sense. The more you offer, the more you get paid. this is a fair law. You offer higher value and get paid more than someone who offers lower value. Who do you think should be paid more? A good lawyer or a bad lawyer? A good soccer player or a bad soccer player? A good actress or a poor actress? The answers are obvious. Let's assume that we have to offer actually a high value to other people and help them. Now, should we offer that value to one person or to 10 or to 100, 1,000? Yes, we definitely should offer that value to as many people as possible. Don't hold it back. It's your duty to offer it to as many people as possible. Think big. Many people need what you have to offer. Offer it to them and get paid proportionally. Most of the people think small, and guess what? They will achieve relatively little. On the other hand, if you think big, you can achieve much more. You can help thousands and thousands of people. Rich people focus on opportunities. Poor people focus on obstacles. Poor people's primary mindset is, what if it does not work? Or more often, it won't work. Rich people take responsibility of the results in their lives and act upon the mindset. It will work because I will make it work. Rich people expect to succeed. These are completely opposite mindsets. Poor people see problems while rich people see opportunities. Poor people focus on the risk while rich people focus on the rewards. No risk, no rewards. Author states that as soon as there is an opportunity, rich people gather as much as knowledge as quick as possible to make their decision. Poor people claim to be preparing, but what they are usually doing is stalling. They are scared and wait until the opportunity has gone. The point is that no luck or anything else worthwhile will come your way unless you take some form of action. I call this being an action taker. Author advises us to enter the corridor and then correct along the way. So act and enter the corridor before you feel perfectly prepared. You will never be perfectly prepared. Entering the corridor means getting into a business, learning about a business. You can only learn from inside the business, not from the outside. So, if you want to become a hotelier, for example, it's wise to visit a hotel first and also work in a hotel. Get to know how a hotel works from the inside. From the outside, you don't see a thing. If you really want to learn a business, get into it. You don't have to own the darn thing from day one. If you want to think like rich people, then remember author motto: action always beats inaction. And don't be the poor person who is still preparing, planning, analyzing and waiting. You are always preparing and getting ready. It's like you are waiting for someone else to take the chance. Don't wait and see, but act and see. You can still correct along the way. It does not need to be perfect from day one. So from now on, take action. Get in the corridor when there is an opportunity. And trust me, normally it's an opportunity and neither a risk nor an obstacle. Action always beats inaction. Don't wait for the opportunity to pass. Friends, these were the 5 points. Rest of the points I will explain in my next videos. If you like this video, so please subscribe and share. And finally, thanks for watching.